5 hidden EV expenses no one will tell you about. Do you think that buying an electric car is just a way to save money and help the environment? Don't believe it. Would you believe me if I told you that there are secret costs that might catch you off guard? In this video, we show you the 5 hidden costs of owning an electric vehicle that no one talks about. These include insurance fees and maintenance costs that you might not expect. Are you ready to learn what you might be missing before you switch to electricity? Watch on to find out the whole story and detailed examination of the true costs of electric vehicles. According to automotive analyst Lauren Fix of Car Coach reports, there is a push for every driver to switch to electric, while almost every automaker has invested billions of dollars into expanding their electric vehicle lineups in hopes that you will make the switch. Don't be forced into something that might or might not work for you. Instead, do the arithmetic and determine what works best for you and your budget. When comparing the price of an EV and a regular automobile, paying attention to the fuel, maintenance, and tax advantages can surprise you into realizing which is a better deal. Electric vehicles have been increasingly popular as a greener substitute for internal combustion engine vehicles in recent years. EVs are hailed as a vital tool by governments and environmentalists around the globe for cutting greenhouse gas emissions and halting climate change. For many prospective customers, though, the cost differences between owning an EV and a conventional gas-powered vehicle continue to be a major factor. In order to ascertain which is a more prudent financial decision, this article explores the different expenses connected with EVs and contrasts them with ICE cars. Purchase price, a sizable initial expense. EVs currently cost a lot more to purchase, although the difference between EV and ICE prices is closing annually, and Bloomberg projects that by 2025, EVs will be more affordable to purchase than equivalent gas vehicles. Electric vehicles currently carry much higher MSRPs. Fix stated, most EVs still have starting prices that are higher than average, discouraging plenty of cost-conscious buyers. Some EVs that are less expensive are the Chevy Bolt EV, Nissan Leaf, Kia Soul, and Hyundai Kona. But remember that the typical electric vehicle is far more costly. A brand new electric vehicle typically costs $61,488. That is significantly more than the typical four-door car, which Kelley Blue Book estimates to cost roughly $48,681. You can save money with tax credits and petrol savings, but it will take some time to make up for the possible $20,000 discrepancy. Compared to an ICE vehicle, the initial cost of ownership for an electric vehicle is substantially greater. The more costly materials and technologies utilized in EV batteries and other components are the reason for this increased buying price. Although tax credits and government incentives can somewhat offset these expenses, the price difference is still present. Because of this, prospective EV customers need to carefully assess whether the greater upfront costs will be offset by long-term fuel and maintenance savings. Length of ownership and cost recoveries. A few years may be an underestimate when it comes to the majority of drivers' cars changing before an EV pays off. According to a U.S. Department of Energy analysis, a compact electric SUV costs $0 and $4,508 per mile when long-term ownership costs are taken into account, while a comparable gas car costs $0 and $4,727 per mile. That is only a $0 and $219 per mile difference. According to the report's conclusion, the average EV would need 15 years to recoup its higher purchase price. What percentage of people do you know who own cars for 15 years or more? Fix stated that the average driver owns a car for 6 years, during which time its annual total costs average $3,300 for electric vehicles and $3,900 for gas-powered vehicles. Whether or not an EV is a wise financial decision depends largely on how long you want to own the car. The average EV needs about 15 years to recoup its initial cost savings when compared to a gas-powered vehicle, according to the U.S. Department of Energy. Nevertheless, since most drivers trade in their cars every 6 years, most EV owners could never truly reap the benefits of reduced fuel and maintenance expenses. This disparity emphasizes how crucial it is to take ownership term and individual driving patterns into account when assessing an EV's financial sustainability. Fuel prices, gasoline versus electricity. Gas is more expensive than electricity, but it's not exactly free. Fuel is by far the strongest reason to convert, though. Although gas prices have dropped significantly since the summer, they are still higher than those of electricity. However, it would be a folly to think of switching without accounting for the high cost of charging. Fix stated, the price of electricity increases in tandem with the price of gasoline. Gassing up a car typically costs $1,120 annually. Operating an electric car costs roughly $485 a year, though having a home charger can cut that amount. A home charger typically costs $2,000 including installation. Fixture supports that estimate with a national average range of $1,000 to $2,500. KBB confirms that it is precisely $2,000, which significantly extends the 15-year deadline for price parity. The average driver, according to KBB estimates, spends $56 a month charging an EV at home. However, this amount does not account for stops at even more costly fast chargers while driving. The fact that EVs require less fuel than gasoline-powered vehicles is one of their main benefits. Electricity is typically far less expensive than gasoline, which means EV owners can save a lot of money. It is imperative to take into account the potential expenses linked with using fast chargers while traveling, in addition to the $1,000 to $2,500 cost of installing a home charging station. The initial cost of setting up a home charger can make it take longer to reach price parity with a gas-powered vehicle, even though the overall fuel savings can be substantial. The myth of a car that needs no maintenance. The very complicated internal combustion engine and all of the various parts that can break down to keep it running are eliminated when you convert to electric power. You also avoid the need for tune-ups, oil changes, and coolant flushes. However, this reality has contributed to the widespread misconception that electric cars don't need expert maintenance. Fix stated, some individuals may claim that an electric vehicle requires no maintenance, but that is untrue. Maintenance is required if there are moving parts. True, since EVs have less moving components than other cars, maintaining an electric car costs about $900 a year. That is only $300 less than the $1,200 annual maintenance expense of gas or diesel engines. Forbes reports that maintenance costs for electric vehicle drivers are approximately $0.06 per mile, while ICE drivers spend $0.10 per mile. Because of their simpler motor and lack of parts like oil and coolant, EVs are sometimes mistaken for low-maintenance vehicles, but they still need routine maintenance. Software upgrades, brake inspections, and tire rotations are all part of routine maintenance for electric vehicles. Lauren Fix estimates that the yearly maintenance cost of an electric vehicle is about $900, whereas that of a gas-powered vehicle is $1,200. The savings are noteworthy, but not as significant as some may have anticipated. Prospective EV owners should also take into account the specialized nature of EV maintenance, which may necessitate trips to approved repair facilities and result in increased labor expenses. Cost of repair and insurance, increased premiums and repair bills. EV repair and insurance costs are higher. Although EVs are less expensive to maintain according to Forbes, they are more than 50% more expensive to repair in the event of an accident. Fix stated that gas-powered cars are less expensive to fix in an accident. They cost more to insure since they are more expensive to fix. Fix stated insurance is a big factor to consider. Because the car and its parts are more expensive to repair and replace, the average cost of an electric car is 23% or more higher. Ultimately, unless you retain your EV for roughly 3 times the average ownership term, there is a $13,000 price difference. Fix stated, when all things are taken into account, an EV will cost you $71,770. A vehicle running on gas, $58,664. Over the course of your more expensive electric vehicle's lifetime, you will never recoup the original cost difference. Put another way, the annual cost of driving a gas-powered vehicle will be $600 more. But the cost of owning an EV is $13,000 higher than that of a gas car over a 6-year period on average. EVs typically incur higher repair costs in the event of an accident in addition to maintenance expenses. Repair expenses for electric cars, EVs, can be over 50% greater than for gas-powered cars due to the complex technology and specialty parts they employ. As a result, insurance costs are greater for EV owners. Fix states that insurance for an electric vehicle may cost up to 23% higher than that of a gas-powered vehicle. The longer it takes to reach cost parity with ICE vehicles, the higher the repair and insurance costs. It is crucial to take into account every aspect of total cost of ownership when comparing EVs with gas-powered cars, including the purchase price, fuel costs, maintenance costs, insurance and repair costs, and government subsidies. Fix estimates that the overall cost of owning an EV over a 6-year period is roughly $71,770, whereas the cost of a gas-powered vehicle is $58,664. This is a $13,000 disparity in favor of cars with gas engines. Although EVs have cheaper fuel and maintenance costs, these savings may be outweighed by the higher initial cost, repair costs, and insurance premiums. Making the conversion to an electric automobile is a complicated decision that needs to be carefully considered in light of a number of financial considerations. EVs have more upfront expenses and other financial difficulties, despite the fact that they have substantial environmental advantages and the ability to save money over time. Potential EV purchasers ought to perform a comprehensive cost study, accounting for their unique financial circumstances, driving preferences, and length of ownership. It will be able to make an educated choice that fits their demands for transportation and finances by doing this. Don't miss out on crucial insights and tips about electric vehicles. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated with the latest videos.